Morning, Jen. You can shut off the recording and get it started once it's actual meeting time.
Good morning, Jay. Do you have time for a quick question?
Sure.
Hi, this is Kat. Good morning, Pete. Anyway, at the last meeting and previous meetings, I think there was something wrong with my sound. Can you hear me okay? So I put headphones on but they can't hear me. Can you hear me okay? Do you know how to fix it?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like last time I had to do, to talk about the regs and they said in and out, they couldn't hear me. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
Okay. Yeah, because I never have any problems with Teams, but it's just always on Zoom. Anyway, let's see how it goes today. How are you, Pete? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy retirement. Are you excited?
I am excited, although I haven't got used to it yet, but I guess
It
I'm only a
started,
couple of
right?
days in. What's that?
It started, right?
It started, yep. So I actually took my daughter to the airport yesterday at Logan in Boston. She's headed out to study in Indonesia for 2 weeks for a winter term class or whatever. So
Is this the same girl we saw like taking the DMV test
um
at Avon? We saw each other at
oh no, I
Avon
think
driving school.
she's about a year older than my daughter Emily. So nope, not the same one, different daughter.
Indonesia. Didn't they just have an earthquake or like flooding or something?
We don't talk about such things. Yes, they did.
Oh, you're so brave. That sounds exciting though. So are you doing other work yet, or like are you available to review cases for accountancy?
I am not doing any outside work at the moment, and I don't really intend to, but I am happy to help you with outside cases if you have the need arises.
But see, that's where it's bad. If you're working, at least you're like at your computer and you're like, read stuff. But if you're like really retired where you out and have fun, you won't want to get involved. Good morning, Bud. How are you? Happy New Year.
Kat. Happy New Year to you guys. Thank you. I'll ask just before, did we get a write-up on all the people listed in the agenda? Because I didn't get, an email on each of the people listed under those extension requests and waiver requests. I don't know, Peter, did you?
No, but sometimes I think a lot of times they just forward, like if it's confidential information, they send that because they don't want it to be part of the public.
So, but the process is on the agenda. If you look at the agenda, it's listed there. And the only requests that we would send to you are those, like Pete said, confidential information. Otherwise, we discuss it in public.
Got it. I didn't realize that distinction. Okay, so I'm all set then.
Do you have a copy of the agenda? Would you?
Oh, yeah, I do. Thank you. And Peter, today's your first day of retirement. Is that?
Yeah, I guess officially, since it's the first working day in 23. So yeah.
Congratulations. I beat you only by 6 months. So
6 months.
Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. Yeah, it's indifferent.
I'm looking forward to it. Everyone asks me what I'm going to do. I say sleep.
Catch up on your sleep. It does happen.
Good morning.
Good morning, John. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Did you do anything fun for New Year's?
No, it's mostly around the grandkids. Yeah, that's the age.
I think we'll live in the same kind of general area. And I didn't hear a lot of fireworks. Did you?
Not a lot. Just I don't know. Some I don't know where they were. Looked like somebody's home show. I hope we're gonna have a quorum, and I'm gonna have to go back and forth between my iPad because my printer wouldn't work today. This morning. Okay. Dan, yeah. Okay, now I know Marcia just called or emailed in and said she can't make it because some work issue. Carla emailed last night and she has COVID and she's not up to a meeting. And I didn't see whether it looked like Stacy did not confirm. Is that correct? She's not on the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Just to our silent DCP Zoom host, thank you very much for jumping in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do we need?
Not on the list, so to meet quorum, it would be the 5. Because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 on the
Okay.
list.
Okey doke. So I guess it being 10:02, I will call the meeting to order. And first item on the agenda is minutes of the previous meeting. Is there anybody that has any comments, questions, corrections, additions or deletions for the minutes?
The only question, John, I had was, it reminded me that you were going to send slides from that NASBA meeting, and I
Right.
don't remember if you sent them or not.
I have not sent them yet, no. I did finally get a big download and I'll convert them into PDFs and send them along.
I had no comments on the minutes.
Okay, actually, I'll send them through. Well, I'll consult with how I should send them through so I don't trigger a meeting. Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from last month's meeting, last
Okay.
meeting, last month's.
A second?
Second,
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, could we possibly pause for a minute? There was an email from Stacy saying she doesn't see the meeting Zoom, the Zoom link.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yeah, let me
Okay, let's see if we can get Stacy on.
email it to her. Jennifer, do you want to do that or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Okay. And I don't see Shamika either.
She just requested to join and I just let her in. There we go. Oh,
Good
here's Stacy.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Same
Year.
to you.
We have excuse me, a motion on the table and seconded to approve the minutes of the last meeting. And now it's time for any further discussion. And since you're on, if you've got a copy, if you'd like to make a comment, question or deletion, Stacy?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Hearing none. All in favor, raise their hand, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carried. Okay, at this point, we have our first comments or concerns of any person present today, and the purpose is primarily to see if anybody that is joining in from the public has anything that they want to have addressed later in the meeting, or any comments, and there will be an opportunity later. Okay. Appears like none. Okay, Investigation Division. Do we have anything coming up from Investigation Division?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Legal Division.
I don't yet. We don't have anything.
Very good. Old business. I think facilitated board access is actually taken care of because the state is now on facilitated board access, correct?
Correct.
Okay. New business. I thought right after the holidays, we wouldn't have anything new on this, but I wanted on the agenda anyway, is internship eligibility for education experience, which we had tabled, and that's something that is being discussed around the country. If anybody has any thoughts on that, if not, I think we probably should delegate a subcommittee to take a look at what's going on with NASBA on that at this point. And I was hoping Carla would be on because she'd get something in from the education, but hate to ask for volunteers on January 3rd. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any either. I'll volunteer if I can get one other.
I can help you on the John if you need help.
Okay.
Sure.
Is that your den, Peter? Now that you're retired?
No, it's actually my daughter's room who's not home.
Oh. Okie doke. Excuse me. Okay, we have some comments on or some credit exam extension requests and CPA extension waiver requests.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to ask if the board would vote to add 2 people to the agenda. One is for a continuing ed credit, and the other one is for an exam credit request, extension request.
This is
Okay.
Pete. I'll make the motion to add them to the agenda.
Second,
Second.
all 4?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, let's
Okay.
roll.
Thank you. Okay, so our first exam request is from Madison Hanoish. She's asking for a credit extension due to medical records. She has supplied her records to back up her request. She's asking for an extension of her odd credits, which expired July 6th of 2022. She passed it in February of 2021, and she's asking for an extension through December 6th, 2022.
December 6th.
December 6th.
She's asking for an extension to December 6th, 2022?
Correct.
Okay, so she has completed?
Appears so.
Okay.
She hasn't sent any documentation, but that was what she requested.
Okay. And just remind me, the reason behind that extension?
Medical reasons. I sent an
Medical,
email.
okay, that
Yes.
was that one of the ones we sent out?
COVID.
Mhm.
Okay. Any comments? Anybody like to make a motion
So moved to approve her.
to approve? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Against? Okay, that motion is carried.
Okay. The next is a group of 4 people who are requesting an extension to take their exams. I guess they're residents of China, but they are based out of China.
Uh-huh,
And their request is based on the restriction band. Some of them, they're unable to get approval from their job. So out of the 4 of them, I have two who supplied job denial letters. So the first one is Haosheng Yang. I'm sorry, Haosheng Yang. That one is due to medical reasons. I sent you guys a doctor's note. So
Right.
their audit expired
What
December
with
30th.
Unkan Junkwitze?
Sorry?
I can't read Chinese, but
Right. Yeah, I had very little information in there. But they're asking for an extension for the audit credits that expired December 31st, 2022. The BEC that expired December 31st, 2022, and the FAR, which also expired December 31st, 2022. This person is asking for an extension through July 31st of 2023.
well, that should get them past their COVID lockdown.
Mhm.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So the next from that bunch is Wanjung Yang. They're asking for an extension of their FAR credit that expired December 31st, 2022. They passed it in December of 2019, and it's for their inability to travel due to the China travel restrictions, but they didn't specify a date. I think they were the only one out of the bunch of four that didn't specify a date.
Did you send that one? I don't see that one.
No, I didn't send
Yeah,
any
me
of the
neither.
ones for the travel restriction.
Yeah, we only get sent ones in advance that have a reason that is somewhat confidential.
Oh,
so
okay,
that the documents don't get, the discussion doesn't get shared publicly.
okay.
Perhaps we could hold that up until after the the others and apply the same date.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
the next one is Jiawei Tang. They're asking for an extension due to travel extensions. They supplied a denial letter from their employer for them to be able to travel here in order to take their OD that expired December 31st, 2022, as well as their reg that expired December 31st, 2022. They're asking for an extension through December 31st of 2023. Do you want me to just do all of them and then?
Yeah, why
do
don't we
the
do
group
all of them?
decision? Okay, all right. So the next one is Tong Wu, asking for an extension. They supplied a denial letter from their job for to be able to travel. Their credits are a BEC expired December 31st, 2022. Their FAR credit expires December 31st, 2022. They're asking for an extension through June 30th, 2023. The last one of the bunch is Wan Long. They're asking for an extension of their FAR credit expired December 31st, 2022. And this one also did not supply a date of when they're looking for the extension through. But their reason is
Well-
also due to travel restriction.
I guess I'd consider kind of a uniform June 2023. I don't know, that might still make it tight with travel, but more than one, but any thoughts?
I guess, John, I'd ask background being relatively new, like, have we had this situation ever, travel restrictions? I mean, I know it's. kind of-
Yeah, we have extended before for people from China who are locked in
During the pandemic.
during the pandemic. I mean, they can, even during the hold it, I do know somebody that works over there and she can come back, but traveling back and forth is extremely difficult and a lot of employers are not allowing it over there. She happens to be the boss, so she allows it, but not a CPA.
I don't know, my general reaction would be we should approve it, but yeah, probably some uniform date might make sense. But I'd open up, of course, what others think.
Well, if June 3rd, if June 30 is not sufficient due to specific requirements of the one that didn't provide a date, or the one that wanted December 31, they can always come back to the board. As everybody knows, I fortunately cannot make motions, and we don't have Marcia here.
I'll make the motion to extend their deadline dates to June 30th, 2023.
Any second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. CPE extension waiver requests.
Actually, I'm gonna do one more, one of the.
Oh,
that
one
was
of the
voted.
additions.
Yes, so this is Allison Kilbana. She's requesting an extension for her Beck and Odd. Last meeting, we approved it due to a medical, well, she was taking care of her sick father. That extension was granted through December 31st, 2022. But then she had another unexpected death in the family the same day of our last meeting. She's now requesting an extension through January 15th, 2023.
I just wanted to add a little background. Is the audit and the BEC credits originally expired December 18th, 2021. But the board extended it to June 30th, 2022 at the January 2022 meeting based on her father's condition. So, and again, her father has been in and out of the hospital. So they were, they had expired the end of 2021. And so when you approved it to extend it to June 30th, that's when she came back and it was extended to December of 2022. And that she, originally she said that she asked for an extension to January because she said she didn't realize that the testing centers were all booked up and she's having trouble finding availability to get an exam near her. And so she said that I would currently have to drive over 3 hours one way to find a testing center. Availability before December 31st. And so we asked for documentation showing the lack of testing centers. And that's when she wrote back. She said, I'm testing the family.
What was the last? When she wrote back and said, I just didn't understand the last part of your sentence.
And so we asked for documentation showing unavailability of testing centers, but instead she did not provide it. But then she wrote back, she said there was a death in the family. That's when her uncle died. And she said she can provide documentation showing she flew out to Arizona to attend his funeral service. Again, she is asking only a 2-week extension.
Only for 12 more days.
Right.
Right.
Is this a CPE extension or is this an exam extension? I wasn't clear.
2 exam extensions, her BEC and her audit.
Oh, okay.
So she must have had at least one of those taken.
Yeah.
And must be taking the other one. don't know, it seems to be coming back and back and back. I guess if we extended it, I'd kind of like to see, okay, we'll give you the extra 12 days, but
The last
stop.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Is there a way
before,
to communicate that to her upon, like, if we approve it, just to say, okay, this is gonna be the last time?
Well, in fact, we kind of hinted at that already. We said that, you know.
oh, Martha did make it. I was just about to interject and say the links haven't been clickable for her. You're on mute. I think she has to be invited in as a participant.
Yeah, no, I know that, but
Okay.
it said click on the link and it doesn't click. So,
Oh,
well, sorry.
oh, well. We've just been going through extensions, so.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion or further discussion?
I'll make the motion that we approve it for the additional, whatever, 15 days to January 15, 2023.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's back to you, Shamika.
Okay, so now on to the CPE extension request. My first one is from Claire Murray. She's requesting an extension for her ethics credits due to medical reasons. I supplied you guys with the medical records to support this, and she's looking for an extension through December 14th, 2022.
December 14th. So how much extension time did she ask for?
She just asked through December 14th.
Oh, when was she gonna collapse? Before June or?
Right, I believe the CPE deadline is June 30th,
Uh-huh.
but she completed it in December. So just the ethics credit, so she would have had to pay the late fee of $625, and she's asking for that to be waived.
Oh, she's asking for a fee waiver.
Correct.
Definitely have a pregnant pause here. Any comments, thoughts?
She did it.
Seemed like she had all 40 credits. She just forgot to do the ethics by June 30th. Isn't that how? And then I thought the reason she gave was that she had 2 children in 2 years and it wasn't medical. Or maybe that is medical. I don't know. Seemed okay to me.
Okay, so it's not a question of not getting the 40 hours. It's a question of, oops, I was due for ethics this year.
That's what it looks like.
Mhm.
So I guess it goes down to whether we have any leftover Christmas spirit.
I mean, having 2 kids in 2 years, that is a medical,
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next.
Next person is Carrie Brown. She is requesting due to giving birth. I supplied the medical records for that. She has completed 35.5 hours and will complete the remaining 4.5 hours by December 15th. So she's looking for an extension. 15th of 2022, sorry.
Well,
I just wanted to note that she had the baby on June 28th when the deadline is.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay, do we have a motion?
A motion to approve.
I'll
Second.
second.
Further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Okay,
And the next person is Javon Snyder. He's looking for a waiver of the late fee of $625. He said it's to his misunderstanding of when his license was issued versus, what was it, Kat? The issue date versus
Yeah,
the
so
approval
what-
date?
Right, so what happened was on October 8th, he emailed our licensing, asked if he was subject to the CPE requirements. As you know, excuse me, the first year of your licensing, you are exempt from CPE requirements. But so he emailed our licensing unit in October and he asked, am I subject to the requirement when I was licensed in November 2021? So based on that, our licensing unit responded that, no, you're exempt. However, he stated that when he went to renew in December, he realized that he made a mistake and that he was not licensed in November 2021. He was actually licensed in April 2021. So had he supplied that information, our licensing unit would have said, yes, you are subject to the CPE requirement. So he's saying that he didn't realize that until he went to renew. When I looked at the record, it shows that prior to June 30th, the CPE deadline, he completed only 18.5 credits. And so when he emailed our licensing unit, he had completed only 9 more. So in October, past the CPE deadline, he had completed only 27 credits. And so he completed the 16 between October and December. But his reasoning is he made a mistake. In his email, he didn't realize that he was not subject to the, that he was not exempt.
So it's a year later, did he complete it after? Like, is he all caught up now?
Yeah, he says he has 44 hours completed.
He, that's another funny thing. He said, Shamika, where was it that he said 44? Because on the renewal application, he stated that he had 48, but I counted like several times and I was going to go back to it later. It counted only up to 44. So, or 40 something, it was not 48. And so that's a different issue. So I was going to go back to that.
Right, I think in his one of his emails or his explanation, he said he had 44 hours, I believe.
For 2 years?
No, just for 1 year.
just,
Like you're exempt the first year.
Okay, so through June, so this is essentially through June 30th, 2022, he has 44?
Correct.
Okay,
That's the requirement that he's trying to meet.
okay. I just wanted to understand that.
But he didn't get to 44 until after June 30th, 22.
Right, until
Right.
December.
so he's looking for a fee waiver.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm surprised somebody didn't know when they got that. That's like graduating from college. It's getting licensed. But okay, I'll entertain a motion to waive or not to waive as the board sees fit.
I'll make the motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Pete, what are your thoughts on that? Why do you think it should be denied?
I think it's pretty clear that you get a pass on the first year or whatever, and you don't get a pass on the, it goes into effect the first full year after you're licensed. So to me, it's pretty clear in the literature or the regulations or whatever that.
So
on
he was licensed April what year?
April 21.
April 21.
So he gets passed for the June
So
30th,
if he gets-
21 year.
Oh, he just gets passed for 2 months?
Yeah, it's just in the year you pass the thing or whatever, whatever the next June 30th is, you get a pass for that period, and then the
Oh,
clock
okay.
starts ticking on
Yeah,
July
the clock
1st.
starts ticking not after he's actually a CPA for a full year, but just that year.
And if he supplied the correct information in the email in October of 21, he would have gotten the right answer, and he wouldn't have made this mistake. It just seems like it's not a mistake he should have made.
So it doesn't, he doesn't get a pass for June of 2021 through June of 2022?
That's right.
And
Yes. Pay
July
them.
1st, 21 to June 30th, 22. Yeah.
Although I can understand confusion on that, but okay, that's the way it is.
But by December, he knew, and he's just asking a year later. Seems like a lot of time passed before he requested it. If he knew December of 2021, it'd take a year to figure that part out.
My guess is he probably didn't know until December of 22, though, right, Stacy? Because he would have been renewing his license in this December, and then realized when they
And he
asked
would have
for the
known then.
CPA credits for June 30th, 22.
But I thought all the renewals were in December, so he would have had to renew in December of 2021 for 2022.
When he figured it out, I think.
Yep, you're right.
Right, so that would have been the year he got the pass on his renewal.
Well, he would have realized, I think the email was that he realized at that point that he wasn't exempt. So I would have expected the request for the waiver to come, at the beginning of 2022, not at the end of 2022. Because he would have requested a waiver for, well, no, he would have requested the waiver in July, maybe for June, not December for June.
What is he looking for?
Looking for a waiver of the late fee.
Oh,
Yeah, because he got it in by December, so he got it in time for renewal, correct? And just didn't have it in time to
He
avoid a
didn't.
late fee.
Right, so based on his October email, it looks like, well, his explanation says that by October 8th, that he would have completed 100% of he would be in 100% compliance.
Right.
Hmm.
So he's 1 to 3 months behind.
Were you saying something, Kat? You were on mute.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find the button. Yeah, I'm looking at his record now. And he was licensed in April 21, and at the end of 2021, he did renew his license. That's when he was exempt the first time. So this is his second renewal, not his first renewal.
Yeah, first full year, but second renewal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In his first year of renewal, did he submit documentation of compliance with CPE at that point, or was he just not compliant because he took that
claimed it.
exemption that he was entitled to?
Right, he took the exemption. He claimed that I am exempt.
So he knew he was exempt last year.
Yeah. I guess I sort of think he knew or should have known, I should say, at that point, or at least by October, which is when he got it all in. Part of me says, hey, that's the rules. And the other part of me says, that's a pretty stiff fine. I'm assuming he's a young person just getting licensed. But it is what it is. Okay. Any further comments? We'll take a vote. Anybody to approve the motion, say aye or raise your hand. I guess I will.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Thank you. I want him to get somebody. Any abstentions? Okay, moving on.
Okay, the next one is Morgan Burgeon. She is requesting an extension. Well, she's requesting a waiver of the late fee. And she sends a letter, says to whom it may concern, I'm requesting a waiver of the $625 fee for CPE earned after June 30th, 2022, and before December 31st, 2022. I was previously on maternity leave from July 19, 2021 through December 16, 2021. Supporting documents attached. I subsequently took a personal leave of absence in February 2022 before ultimately resigning from Ernst & Young LLP and beginning employment as a senior accountant for Masco Corporation in March 2022. As this is my first CPA renewal period requiring the submission of CPE, I did not realize that the CPE earning period, July 1st to June 30th, was different from the renewal deadline, December 31st. I have since earned the required annual 40 hours of CPE in order to renew my license as active for 2023 calendar year. I appreciate your consideration in waiving the late fee. Sincerely, Morgan Burgeon.
Well, this is very similar to Mr. Snyder, correct?
Mhm.
Except for the,
Well, yeah,
go ahead.
she didn't realize the deadline, but unlike Mrs. Schneider, she does have maternity leave. She did take maternity leave
Right.
from July to December. So she was out half the year. The only thing she did not supply is her documentation of the leave of absence from Ernst & Young, but that was a month.
I don't know. I mean, if you're working for a big four firm, you're taking CPE provided by the firm, you have to know that deadline. I mean, that's kind of, if you're in public accounting and you don't know that deadline, I don't really know what to say about that.
Do you
Was there
think
any-
that apply if you're on maternity leave though? Are you as keyed into the deadlines and the workings of the firm's CPE?
Well, I mean, if you're out for 6 months, I mean, babies nap and stuff like that. I mean, it's your responsibility to get your credits in. And if she
Was
was
there any
off from
explanation for
July
the
through
leave of absence?
December, I mean, if she was out from July through December, she still had 6 months after that to get the CPE credits in. Especially when she went back
Yeah.
to work in March. So she had 3 months to get it done.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion's on the table. Do we have a second? Okay. Do we have an alternative motion?
I make a motion to deny it.
Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second the denial motion.
Any further discussion? Just a question, if instead of $650, the fine was, say, $150, would it change anybody's opinion here?
Well, I suppose so, but I did want to say though that, I've been on the board for a long time, much longer than most people here.
Anybody?
And yeah, a long time. And we've always been very supportive of pregnancies and persons who are trying to, reintegrate into the workplace and trying to handle the responsibilities of motherhood and of, the CPE and all the requirements of coming back to work. So for that reason, I made the motion to accept it, and I'm going to not vote for the denial. And I just wanted to add that as a historical perspective, that the ruling or the motion and the second are not in keeping with the policy that we've had here for many, many years.
Understood. Thank you.
That's good information, Martha, someone being new. One question I have that seems to come, like, do people pay this fine? Like 50 people have already paid this fine and we're denying it for or approving it for the 2 people who asked for an exception, or are these the only 2 people who were subject to this fine?
Good question, because some people just automatically pay it with their license renewal.
Right, they say I made a mistake.
And we don't know how many there are.
Yeah, a lot of people just pay. It's part of the licensing procedure. We can try. I don't know if it's possible to pull up that
Yeah.
info, but that's something I can look into for you. But yeah, very few people ask for.
As a matter of fact, I am aware that that in the last days of the year, there was at least one person that clicked on paying the fine, but then when his credit card got charged, it wasn't included and said, "What's up?" And there was a glitch. So, I mean, people do take it seriously, but
Martha,
I guess I'll be swayed by the pregnancy policy too.
Yeah, I can understand that one, but are we being inconsistent with Siobhan, who just made a mistake? That we're viewing as different than the maternity situation. We're comfortable with that.
Well,
Martha, you are.
I view it, the pregnancy, and not to say that pregnancy is unnatural or an illness or anything, but I view it more of a medical situation where I don't think, although I voted against the first one, I still think it's a little different. I think that his error is a little different. So I would say that they're not exactly the same.
But the fact that she had 6 months after she came back from her 6-month maternity leave, 6 months, you don't feel is enough time to get 40 hours of CPE?
I think it's an awful lot. It's a lot more than we have as lawyers, but no, I don't. I think that it's excusable.
So she has completed the 40 hours.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Just not in time.
Right.
Okay, I think any further discussion, and if so we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Which one are we voting on? Approving?
Oh,
Motion.
that was denying it, was the only one that got a second.
Okay. Well, I'm going to withdraw my second on the denial. So I'm going to vote for approving the waiver of it based on the historical precedent. That'll be what I
Well,
would say.
then will you second then Martha's?
I'll second Martha's.
Okay. We'll hold a vote. And all in favor of approving the waiver?
I
I guess I will too.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to be opposed.
Good. I get tired of unanimous ones every now and then. Okay. Are there any more? Because we had a
Yes.
couple of extra and I've lost track. Go
Yes,
ahead.
one extra, one extra that we voted on today. So this one is for Lucy Wincoop. And she's requesting a waiver of her CPEs for the 2022 cycle. She was on medical leave from April through September. She had a baby in April. She sent documentation showing from Connecticut paid leave that was approved from April 2020 through 2022 through June 2022. Her job also allows her to take additional time. She sent me a copy of the handbook that shows the parental leave, but she's also going to send me more documentation from her employer. This request came in on the 30th, so I was, in communication with her this morning to let her know what additional items that I needed, and I let her know that I would present her request to the board, and she understands that, pending her approval or denial may be pending her submitting more information, which she's in the process of getting.
So I just wanted to point out that she did not leave until April 2022, and she is asking for a complete waiver of PPE, not for a waiver of the fee.
Right.
I don't understand the basis for waiving completely when she had 9 months prior to maternity leave to get some credits. Maybe an extension would be entertained, but a complete waiver seems more than appropriate given what I've heard.
I would agree with an extension, the idea of an extension on that. And I did have a question also. Shamika, do we know, is there some medical reason for the additional leave, or is it just under maternity or paid family leave?
Yeah, it's just under maternity, and she just says that her job also gives them an extended time. That's all she said.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any sense of how many credits she had at all? I mean, has she done any of them?
She didn't supply that information either.
I think we'd need that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, was there some effort and some accumulation, but then, the last months of pregnancy and the time off deferred, and then that's kind of an easy, but if there was nothing in the prior year.
I just looked at her record and she has not renewed. So there's no documentation regarding what she completed.
I'll make a motion that we deny the waiver request, but being open to entertain an extension request, if she should choose to pursue that.
And a full set of information.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Any further any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I think we have at least one more, right?
No, that was it. And I'm sorry, to be clear, what was the decision for this one? I was looking through her email to see if I
Oh,
see any additional
to deny
information.
at this time, but
Deny.
would consider an extension request, but require more information. That be it?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, does that get us to, nope, not quite. Yes. I did send out a copy of that joint NASBA AICPA statement, and it does not require any action, but I think it requires us to start thinking about it. Given the trouble with the pipeline, there are a lot of movements out there to amend, improve, adjust, or whatever the educational requirements. And one, there was a notification to everybody that this creates an issue, because if one state reduces or eliminates the 150-hour rule or changes the 150-hour rule, that provides problems with mobility, because then you no longer have substantially equivalent for all CPAs that are brought in licensed under the different rules. And second, I think that any changes that we would consider that would be uniform changes, we'd have to consider would have to be in, that would not diminish the protection of the public feature of why you have the additional educational requirements. So it's something that I think that we all should be thinking about, because it may or may not come up. There is, so any comments that anybody's, if you've had a chance to read that, I'd appreciate it. And I think that we should have a full discussion. And of course, I'm a big believer in education, but I never thought the 150-hour rule as written was really very well done. There's additional hours that could be virtually in anything. And
Yeah.
I sort of thought that, like many professions, require significant educational updates after somebody starts a career, and there might be a lot of thought into how to change this with the change in the CPA evolution, because then you're going to have people that you've got a 2-level of licensure here that could have another way of looking at it. And I think we should start looking at that. So when it comes down, we're ready to think about it. And
When did you send that email? Because I don't seem to have that.
it was in that link. I can email it to you after. It was on that link for the documents. It was a PDF in there.
Yeah, an email from Jen, and it has the agenda, a link to the agenda, and it had some PDFs
Right.
in it.
It had
Okay.
okay. It's in there. I mean, it's an interesting question, because there is a lot of pushback against licensure all over the country. And I don't think it's very difficult for CPAs to make a case, doctors to make a case, certainly lawyers to make a case that especially with the added complexity of reporting that's come in the last decade and is continuing, that a firm educational background, in addition to the uniform exam and continuing education, is critical. But I think people, but I think there will be reasons, given the CPA evolution, to adjust that or consider adjusting how that's been done.
Do we happen to have any contact information for other local states like New York, Massachusetts, like the surrounding states, where maybe we can get a group together to discuss it? And maybe if it was something that, collectively the Northeast, for example, wanted to change, then at least the mobility is a little bit better.
Good question. There are periodic regional meetings for NASBA, which Kat and I usually sit in on, and I haven't seen one for the next one, so I don't know when that might be coming up. That would be a good time to bring it up there.
Yeah.
I think it's quarterly, so I can definitely find out the next meeting for you.
But I haven't seen a notice, and I'm sure no notice has gone out because of the holidays. So sometime certainly before March, anyway, March 31. Also, of course, it's busy season, so.
Because I agree. I think the fact that you can take the classes in anything sort of makes it pointless, because it's, I'm sure there's some people that are taking accounting classes But I'm sure the majority of
Yeah.
people are taking as easy classes as they can because they're working full time already. And
Right.
it's just to get that, off their plate.
And frankly, until you get a certain amount of time under your belt in actual experience, particularly since you used to either branch out to audit or tax, now you'll branch out to one of three. You didn't necessarily know where the best use of those extra hours might be.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's nothing I'd advise even recommending Connecticut considering changing. And given the speed with which we change, we wouldn't have to worry about it because this one has to be done nationally. And we all have to accept it nationally,
Yeah.
or not.
So I just wanted to add that not only that, it is in the statutes, so the change.
Yeah,
we have to
That's
get
right. It's in the
legislative
statutes at this point. And so at some point, they're going to change the Uniform Accountancy Act. And then we're going to have to deal with changing the statutes and we'll want to have input up to that because, our responsibility is protection of the public and look at it as NASBA looks at it from that view too. To make sure it fits in that.
So just an interesting note, like 2 years ago, time flies, but we amended the statutes to allow candidates to take the exam after they have earned 120 hours.
Yeah.
So we did that recently. So we did make it easier for candidates.
Well, that makes the most sense, right? Because they're in an academic setting. So let them take the academic exam while they're in that mode.
Right.
To make them wait a year after the fact, it's not really fair.
Hey, Kat, can you clarify that 120? Is that once you have 120 hours or is it 120 and with a degree?
No, that is specifically before it required a degree. And so we
Right.
removed that to replace it with 120
Yeah.
hours. So
It
before you
required,
graduate,
it
you can take
required the
Good.
degree also when I took it, which was ages ago. But even then, most states had transitioned to letting you take it while you were still in school before you got your degree. You just
Mhm.
couldn't get licensed until after you got your degree and your experience requirement.
So as of now, you can still get your license if you don't have a degree, but you have 150 hours. So let's say for some reason you failed that swimming test and you didn't graduate, you can still, and you have the minimum credits, you can still get your license.
Interesting. That part I was unaware of.
Yes, it's 150 semester hours, including a baccalaureate or higher degree. So,
Right.
well, actually, I take it back.
Can't get your license, Kat, or you
I
can't
thought-
sit for the exam?
Yeah, I might have misunderstood the word. So, I apologize. Yeah, so I think you have to have 150 and a degree to get your license.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I put that out there to see if anybody would take a look at it and consider it themselves as, based on, sure, we have one fewer working CPAs, but that, from your professional experience and current, whether you've got any particular thoughts on that could share going forward. And it's obviously not time critical because this is going to take a long time.
Yeah, I would definitely like to be involved in that going forward because I totally disagree with that requirement.
Well, a couple of years, 1 or 2 years after I got off the Connecticut Societies Board, they still invited me to the opening, the big thing they had for the opening of the legislature or whatever. And until I told them I wouldn't go around and push the 150-hour rule. Then I got uninvited.
Well, it's just funny in this document, it says it's implying that it will lower the bar on quality and rigor to grow the CPA pipeline, violates our commitment to act in the public's best interest, almost implying that we're going to lower CPA quality by removing that requirement. But I don't think it's adding any value.
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's any empirical data that they could cite
No.
on that statement.
And there
But-
could be, yeah, and there could be programs that could design that I think you could get that data and really feel very comfortable that you're improving quality significantly. But I don't, not being an educator.
Well,
Okay,
instead, if it was a requirement that you had to take accounting classes, then my opinion on that might change. But since that's not a requirement, I just don't see the point.
Agree.
John, has there been any discussion of the increase in the experience hours and lowering the education hours? I don't know.
Hmm,
I just,
not that I've seen, no.
because I feel like they reduced the experience hours when they increased the education hours. I could be wrong on that, but
Yeah, down to 2, right? Because it's
yeah.
Right.
they're essentially equating the extra year of education to experience, which you can't really compare the two.
No, I mean, I'm with you guys. I always thought that I'd rather have somebody with 3 years of experience versus 150 hours who's going to do a better job.
Of course, I
Yeah.
do remember staff used to call the 3-year requirement the Slave Labor Act because until you got that 3 hour, you'd had, they could be pretty tight on the salary. Yeah, no, interesting questions. I agree. I guess I would rather have kept the 3 years. I think in the early stages of your career, you get so much more working with experienced CPAs than you ever get from a course. But
Yeah.
The Heron Voc disagreed. So, okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll open it up. We have one auditor left on. I don't know whether he has speaking ability, so I'll open it up for any comments. But if he's got a way to indicate that he'd like it, I'm sure we could arrange that. Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second?
Second. Okay, no discussion allowed on that one. So all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Dan, have a happy busy season. Stacy, have a happy busy season. And sorry, and I don't know. My
Thank you.
daughter's a lawyer. Her busy season's all year, just like accountants have become. So
Well, no, January is busy.
yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it is for her.
Because our year kind of sort of winds up around December 18th that nobody does anything, but then January 3rd, they want everything. So
Okay. Till next meeting, everyone. Or
bye. Happy New Year.
All right.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Bye.
New Year.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Stay well.